Hey, what's going on, gamers? We got 22 minutes of gameplay exclusive to IGN. And the homie Cat Bailey is a part of this video. Let's check it out. 22 minutes of gameplay. If you don't want to be spoiled, probably go away. But I'm excited to see what happens in the gameplay and then maybe try to do different things whenever I'm able to get my hands on it and whenever we get to review this sucker. You know what I mean? So let's check it out.
What's up, everybody? I'm Cat Bailey, and
Hey, Kat.
This is our extended look at Dragon Age the Veilguard's gameplay. I'm here with BioWare lead developers Corinne Bush and John Epler. Corinne, what are we looking at today?
Hey y'all, so today we're going to be helping out one of our companions, Davrin.
And if it doesn't look awesome to you, the quality of the the video I'm watching right now isn't super awesome. There's a lot of artifacting. So keep in mind, you're getting a compressed artifacted version of a compressed artifacted version. So if you're in the comments being like, this looks like garbage, just understand this game looks amazing when it's being played in person.
This is part of his personal arc to rescue the griffins long thought extinct. We're going to take a quick journey through the Lighthouse, your base of operations. We're going to head into the Crossroads and make our way to the dark swamps of Hossberg Wetlands.
So you're in the Lighthouse, as Corinne mentioned. This is your base of operations that you inherited willingly or unwillingly from Solus. It is located in the Fade. It's where Solus was able to start planning.
Solus. That's how the freaking closed captioning is saying the word Solus. So sorry about that. We'll turn them off.
Rebelling against the Elven gods millennia ago. Right now, you and your team have occupied it, started to build it, started to shape itself around your personality.
Wow.
As Corinne mentioned, we are going to go talk to Davrin, who is located up above, and each of these spaces kind of shapes itself around your companions as they live there, as they basically spend their arcs in those rooms.
And we
Immediately kind of reminds me of the hub world in God of War Ragnarok.
see here the glowing light above indicates Davrin's ready for us. Let's check in with him.
Something wrong?
We got a message. A place called the Cauldron was attacked.
That's some sort of Grey Warden tavern.
It's a secret Warden readout. No idea what goes on there.
Then why are you involved?
Because whatever attacked it sounds like the Gloomhowler.
So earlier in Davrin's arc, you were introduced to his nemesis, the Gloomhowler, a creature that's been hunting and stalking wardens for.
I need more noise on homie's forehead. I need more like bumpy texture, kunari, these are horns kind of vibes. And maybe it's the compression of the video, you know what I mean? But like, you know, I need some little bumps in the in the skin right there or something. Look a little too smooth up there. Got that Instagram auto smooth filter on.
For quite some time. It's kidnapped a bunch of other griffins. Davrin has been trying to track it down. Now he's got a lead, so we're going to go find this and go track this thing down.
Now, Davrin, he prefers the direct approach. We're going to choose a tough response and see if we can get his approval.
Then let's get rid of it.
Had the same thought. What's left of the Wardens are still
Davrin's
licking
down.
their wounds. So we handle this alone. Just go to the Cauldron and get the Griffins back.
Damn.
You have to promise to be...
Have you ever been in somebody's house who has like pet birds? It's gotta smell like shit in this place. You know what I mean? There's a big ass sort of bird creature. This place has gotta smell really, really bad.
Hey boy, listen to every word I say, stay out of trouble, don't do anything dumb, and don't eat any.
I think we get the point.
Lancet and Remy told me there's a word for the bond between a griffin and Warden moving as one. Turlum. Until Hassan and I have that, I'm supposed to keep him safe.
I have to say that I find the griffin adorable.
And very importantly, I know this is a question on everyone's mind. Yes, you can pet Hassan.
Oh, good.
Well, thank goodness for that. And all right, what are we going to be doing next?
I thought they were gonna say, can we buy a little plushie toy of it?
He's up for this.
All right, we're going to finish getting this information from Davrin on the Gloomhowler, and we'll be off to Hossberg and the Crossroads.
Between Warden and Griffin starts by having faith in each other.
Maybe. I suppose you were born for this sort of fight, boy. All talons and temper.
And a sharp tongue to remind you of it.
As long as he backs it up.
So I assume that a song can be helpful during the gameplay?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of Davrin's abilities revolve around calling a son in the heat of battle. I in particularly love when you're going against enemies. You see a son swoop down, especially if it triggers a combo between your companions.
As Corinne mentioned earlier, one of the interesting, fun things we've done is if you see the lights on in a room, companions have something to say, you can see Harding up in that space.
Hold up. I mean, we got the grippers out in full display right there. I mean, they are just out. They are on the town, on the prowl. Watch out for them, everybody.
If you see the lights on in a room, companions have something to say, you can see Harding up in that space there, Nev behind you as well, and Belara. But we have a mission ahead of us. We're going to go find the Gloom Howler if we can.
I like that feature.
We're going to go through the Crossroads in order to do that. And the Crossroads, if you've played previous Dragon Age games, Trespasser in particular, is a location in the Fade that contains a number of alluvions, allowing you to travel across Thedas in a matter of minutes. But at this point, the Crossroads are under assault by the other elven gods. It's a dangerous place, and we are going to be in for a bit of a fight.
And this alluvion, the Vira Voss, is the central focus point of the Lighthouse. This is going to take us to Solas's pocket area of the Crossroads, and it might look a little bit different from what you've seen in Trespasser.
Can you tell us a little bit about the role that the Crossroads plays in the structure and the gameplay?
Yeah, so the Crossroads
Great
is,
question,
again, it's an area that you spend a lot of time traveling through as you go from area to area. It's also a space that has, at one point, served as Solas's main base of operations and training ground for his rebellion against the elven gods. So as you go through it, you're going to find fragments of the past, the things that Solas had done previously that are going to give you a bit of insight into Solas as a character, but also into the elven gods and their motivations.
This looks so pretty already, and it's just such a it's a very low quality MP4.
My favorite content that you'll find if you go exploring in the Crossroads is these opportunities to actually relive some of the memories Solas had during his rebellion. You actually get to take part in this ancient rebellion.
And here we have the Caretaker, a mysterious spirit that was actually here before Solas was and started to help Solas with his rebellion, but also to turn this into a safe haven for spirits. Again, as I mentioned before, the gods are assaulting the Crossroads, so it's no longer the safe haven it once was, but you're going to work with this Caretaker through quite a large amount of ancillary content to rebuild this into that safe home for these creatures that, if anyone knows Solas, he has a tremendous amount of affection for spirits.
I'm excited to see this Kunari warrior
now
get to it.
We're going to get into combat here, and this time we're playing as a mage.
Oh, mage.
Now,
oh,
mage is
shit.
one of my favorite.
I just assumed this was I thought this was like a big mace. I thought it was a big freaking like thwack mace hammer. Interesting.
Classes to play. It's primarily a ranged attacker, and when we're surrounded by swarming darkspawn, I really have to use a variety of strategies to control the battlefield.
Little extended dodge right there.
Charged attacks to knock down these ghouls, get them out of the way, and of course, darkspawn are vulnerable to fire. So we made sure to equip our fire staff, have our fire abilities on hand.
You may notice something about the Darkspawn too.
Oh, we've also got the baddie. She's in the roster right now.
That they look a little bit different than they have previously. And
I mean, let's be real baddies.
Because Gillenane, who has always been focused on using the Blight as essentially a crafting material, a way to alter life itself, has been enhancing and changing these Darkspawn as part of her army.
Corinne, I noticed that you were doing a combo opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the role that plays in the actual combat?
Yes, so the combat system in this game, the deep strategy behind it is really to manage the various abilities your companions and Rook have in concert. So in this case,
I have one kind of negative thing about this whole look. I don't mind the colors. There's something about, like, I wonder if like the thickness of these sort of bars, or maybe it's the borders around these portraits. If it was like, if all of this was about 15% less, kind of like I guess the word is gaudy. Probably not the word I'm looking for, but I think it's a little too over-designed. And I wish it was a bit more simpler. But that's all I got to say about that.
Starting has a combo opportunity with Shred. It's going to apply the Sundered effect and deal a high amount of stagger. Now you'll notice I can combo that with Rook's ability Spirit Bomb. That's going to cause a detonation combo.
So, again, one of the things you'll notice about the terrain here is it's very snowy, very mountainous. The Crossroads is a realm that reflects the waking world. In this case, it's an amalgamation of all the real world spaces that are tied to it. In the case, we've got Hossberg, we've got other mountainous regions. So it's kind of this mix of the swamp, and as you'll see as we move towards these illusions,
I was going to say
the architecture around them very clearly reflects what's on the other side. We're not going to spoiler and tell you exactly what's on the other side, but you maybe make a few guesses based on what you're seeing.
Do I have to do the Crossroads, or can I just fast travel right through?
I don't know what's on the other side because I'm very bad with Dragon Age lore. I know pretty much nothing. I played 1, didn't beat 2, played and beat 3. So I played and beat 1 and 3. 2 I didn't beat because I was just red boxing that a whole bunch. And Inquisition I could actually afford to buy at the time. So I'm so bad at Dragon Age lore. Like, I'm pretty much bad at every lore, but Dragon Age I know so little about when it comes to just... All I know is that, you know, Solus is trying to, you know, bring back the Fade, bad guy. He wants the elves, the gods to come back, right? I think. Let me know in the comments down below.
Reflects what's on the other side. We're not going to spoiler and tell you exactly what's on the other side, but you
like the veil is protecting the world from all the bad shit.
Do I have to do the Crossroads, or can I just fast
and he's trying to
travel
break
right
that
through?
I think.
So it depends how you progress through the game. The first time you go to any of the new regions in the world, you'll traverse the Crossroads to get there. Subsequent times, we of course support fast travel, but it behooves you to actually go back and explore the Crossroads as some of the deepest secrets lie within.
So now you're in Hossberg Wetlands. It's an area that has been almost completely consumed by the Blight. The Grey Wardens have set up an outpost here. Again, if you know anything about the Grey Wardens, they fight the Blight anywhere they see it. And they're noticing something strange is going on here. The Blight is not behaving as they expect it to and as it historically has. So they've set up shop in this place called Lavendel, and you are here to work with them, help them out, and help them find an answer to the questions about the Blight that they're asking.
Tell me a little bit more about this area. It looks a little bit like a hub where you can get a lot of quests and things like that.
That's right. So here we find one of the bases of the Grey Wardens. So you'll see they've really built up a small fighting force here to hold off the Darkspawn. What's more, the Grey Wardens are a faction we're going to be working with throughout the game. We've got Holden, one of the Grey Warden quartermasters. We're actually going to upgrade his shop and see what items he has in store for us, see if maybe it gives us an edge in combat.
And the Grey Wardens, much like the other factions, they understand the stakes of the gods being out. They want to help you, but you need to help them first. They have, again, as Corinne mentioned, they're holding off the Darkspawn here. They have other priorities, so getting them more powerful allows them to more meaningfully contribute to your fight against the Elven gods.
So where are we going next?
All right, so we're heading out of the Grey Warden Fortress into the small town of Lavendel. Now,
I really thought there was going to be stairs at the end of this walkway.
The small town of Lavendel.
To more meaningfully contribute to your fight against the Elven gods.
Just took the dangerous route down.
All right, so we're heading
I see a ladder right there. I think it's a ladder.
Fortress into the small town of Lavendel. Now, this used to be a beautiful place full of life, flowers, and you can see what effect the Blight has had. But the residents are still here. They're trying to make the most of their lives. And you can see there's plenty of opportunities to help them. In fact, we're going to quickly check in with Finn the physician and see what he has in store for us.
So Flynn, again, one of the focuses of this game is characters, not causes.
I've been busy with patients, but I'm short on medical supplies. My mentor, Oscar. He should have some. He has a cabin outside the village. If you're out there, tell him you saw Flynn, and they could use his help.
And Flynn is a warden who you will do quests with. We wanted to make sure that the side content of Dragon Age: The Veilguard felt as meaningful and tied to the overall conflict of the game as
Finn is straight up baddie. Let's be real.
anything else you do. We don't want you to just go off and do random tasks. Everything needs to feel meaningful, either contributing to your fight against the gods or contributing to the growth of your companions and the factions that you need at your side to stop the gods.
You look a bit worried.
We're not sure where some of our wardens are, Beckett and a few others. We're supposed to check in. We need to look out for each other more than ever. It's just, I know they took Weishaupt hard, and I hope they're okay.
And these NPCs
All right,
look really good,
so we picked
man.
up a couple of quests.
I
in
really like the
Lavendel,
quality of them.
But we're here to help Davrin, so we're gonna make our way.
And all that comes from the basis of me liking the overall look of the characters anyway, and moving away from the ultra realism. And I know a lot of people don't like that, so
Through the perils of
I do, though.
Hossberg and try to get to this warden fortress of the Cauldron.
Seeing a lot of kind of organic matter. I suppose that's the blight.
pustules.
Absolutely.
You can
So
call them
the blight at
pustules
this
if you
point,
want.
As mentioned
Cat.
before, the wardens understand it's changed. It's become a lot more organic, a lot more alive. You're back in Dragon Age 2, Inquisition, Origins. The blight, while it was a slow-moving wall, it didn't have this almost sentience, this almost thought behind it. And obviously we've talked about how the gods that are out are blighted. That probably has something to do with it, and it's made this area far more dangerous than it would have been before.
And you might notice as we get into combat with some of these dark spawn that they do look a little bit different than before, and that's very intentional. Gillenane, the god of monsters, she uses blight like a medium to sculpt and warp the dark spawn to do her bidding, to suit her purposes.
So right now you'll see a couple of Hurlocks, one with some pretty disgusting growths on its back. Again, the idea that the Darkspawn and the Blight is an organic weapon. They're not just coming out and, making swords, making armor. They're using the Blight to augment themselves so they can more effectively defeat you and also give the gods the world that they desire.
All right, now I'm actually gonna switch to my Orb and Dagger on the mage. And those of you that were fans of the Knight Enchanter in Dragon Age Inquisition, you might feel right at home with this. This is a more melee-focused, more agile version of the mage.
Oh, cool.
One of the main mechanics here is you can use this elemental orb to apply stacks of elemental damage to the enemy and then unleash them with your dagger to detonate them.
So, again,
Yo,
we're in.
that move looks
You'll
sick.
notice that there are blight pools. The darkspawn aren't just coming out of nowhere. The blight is spawning them. Again, part of Gillenane's attempt to turn this into an army for the gods is to use these darkspawn. Not just, again, whereas you have the Venatori and the Antam, one case representing magical power, in the other case representing physical strength, the darkspawn are representing overwhelming force.
That was a pretty clutch heal a little earlier, by the way.
You know, we've talked at length before that our fans have asked us, where is the healing magic? Can you bring it back? And Nev in this game, happy to oblige with a kit of
Hell
healing
yeah,
spells.
that's awesome.
So one of the interesting things that I love about our companions is each of them...
Yeah, one thing I really not loved, I don't even remember if Inquisition had the healing spells or anything like that, but kind of slow playing Inquisition back and hitting the pause and then going up to hitting the left bumper to your strategy wheel and then going up to the little heal. This always felt kind of clunky and
their abilities, the way that they're built, they're very thematically appropriate.
Didn't really
to the
fit with the
character.
whole rhythm
They're
or
very
anything, I
focused
felt like.
on making sure that the gameplay and the narrative are as closely aligned as possible. In the case of Nev versus Vlar versus Amrik, our mages, each of them has a healing ability that is thematically appropriate to them. It makes sense when you know them as a character.
Watching you play, I'm struck by sort of the size and the scope of this particular area. It seems like there's a lot of exploration that I can be doing right here.
That was really one of our goals with these areas. Of course, we are a mission-based game, but we really emphasize player autonomy. You can revisit these spaces. They're full of secrets, puzzles, some pretty incredible bosses and treasure. And of course, as we saw earlier in Lavendel, some really narratively rich side quests.
One thing that's interesting is you'll find we're going on a quest for Davrin, but Davrin is not currently in our party. That's because Davrin has gone ahead of us and is waiting for us at the Cauldron. This is, again, we want the followers, the companions, to feel like they have autonomy, and
they got shit going on.
Complete the quest on their own. They will go ahead and get things ready. So when you get there, you can you talk to them, you'll have a conversation with them, and it feels like they're as invested in the success of their journey, their stories, as you are.
This looks like a pretty contiguous zone, is that right?
It is, yes. So it's full of branching paths, different areas to explore. And what I love is the more content you do in the area, the more shortcuts you're going to discover.
I'm paying attention to the moves that Harding and Nev are doing. Or
you're really
Nev?
going to have a lot more flexibility in how you navigate between your remaining missions and quests.
Well, I think something really interesting too about the way that our team has.
Harding's doing her archery shit. Nev just did a big ground pound sort of
story
thing
to tell. And while those quests, we talked earlier about those quests and side quests being narratively relevant, they also contribute to a more of a meta story about the space itself.
I love this green
in the case
beam.
of Hossberg, we talked about how this is an area surrounded by blight, and you're kind of getting to the center of what exactly is going on in Hossberg and Lavendel, and these quests that you do and the content Corinne is currently engaged in helps to tell that story.
All right, we can see our companions are up here attacking this dark spawn on their own. Let's give them a quick hand.
Finisher.
All right, I love positional gameplay, making use of the environment to your advantage.
And I just saw that you could do a takedown move, so it's kind of a finishing move.
You can. Now, in this particular build, I'm really focused on using necromantic energies to siphon life force. But if I, for instance, wanted to go...
If I had a nickel for every time I was siphoning necromantic energies.
The stagger route, I could go...
What'd they say?
You can. Now, in this particular build, I'm really focused on using necromantic energies to siphon life force.
Siphon life
force,
I gotcha.
For instance, wanted to go the stagger route, I could go a full takedown build if I like. It's a really... powerful, heavy-hitting style of gameplay.
All right, so you'll notice Davrin is waiting for us, so let's see what he has to say. The sun
There's the sun.
Yeah, a bad day at the Cauldron.
What could do that?
What have they been hiding inside?
So something tore through the gate. That's probably not great. Looks like we should probably get moving.
We won't find out standing around here.
Be ready for anything.
It is immediately noticeable how much more like conventionally attractive your rook can be. Because I feel like it was pretty easy to make an accidental Uggo in Dragon Age Inquisition, you know what I mean? Something about like the face shapes, it reminds me of like making an elf in Inquisition. The humans, I felt like I could make myself a much hotter dude in Inquisition, or in Inquisition as a human. The elves just had like a different face style, and it reminds me of like creating a character in Bloodborne where everybody's just always gonna have a little skinny ass head. You're just gonna be a little skinny dude, but like. That's a good looking Kunari right there.
We won't find out standing around.
So because we don't have Davrin in our party, he's going to move ahead and wait for us while we bring Nev and Harding along to clear a path for ourselves to find Davrin and get to where he is.
Can you talk a little bit about how Nev and Harding sort of synergize during the combat?
Yeah, so Nev and Harding, Nev is a mage, Harding is a rogue, and each of the classes, and you can build a party entirely of one class if you want, but the idea is that the classes synergize and they can set up and detonate each other's abilities in a very interesting way. Now, because you have a lot of freedom in how you build your character, you can, again,
low
as
health,
said,
brother.
you can have all rogue party, all mage party, all warrior party, and it still works. But in this case, Nev and Harding are very effective at setting up and detonating, in this case, as Corinne's going to show.
So we're in danger here, and this is really what I love about the tactical layer of combat. If you get in that clutch situation where you've got this devastating incoming attack, great time to pause gameplay, weigh your options, and in this case, I'm going to go back to our combo here and see if I can just quickly get out of the way. All right.
Necromantic energies to siphon life forces.
Siphoning to these enemies, so I'm actually going to be leeching their health when I use my mage.
I love a good, love a good vampiric ability.
Now you'll notice there's blight boils throughout the area, and that's part of our philosophy on the combat encounters. If I don't destroy these blight boils, ghouls are going to continue to emerge. So I'm really focused on what targets do I take down first. This enemy is a little bit weaker. I think I'm going to have my companions focus on them while I deal with this grenadier that's given me some problem.
Yeah, I will say, and that's, I'm not on the stick. Corinne is much better at this game than I am, and
You say that.
Well, most of the time, yes, 100%. But each enemy, again, really leaning into the organic. What I love about the grenadiers is they basically rip off pieces of themselves and throw them at you, which explode as blight. And again, really leaning to the idea that the blight is organic and disgusting.
I'm playing real horny right now.
What I'm noticing is that the combat encounters can get pretty intense.
Holy
you end up
shit.
playing a lot of different enemies. You can absolutely die if you're not careful.
Yes, and this, as we mentioned earlier, this is well into the game. So combat counters have really ramped up. And it really shows the importance of positioning, using your companions wisely, and looking for those synergies and combos.
Oh.
Now, this is interesting. We just went down. We've built our companions to be able to come to our aid. So we're actually going to use a revive here. And Nev to the rescue.
And as Corinne mentioned, this is later in the game, and Hossberg itself is what I would consider a later game area. And the encounters a little bit more challenging. It's a more dangerous space. This shows up in the encounters.
Damn,
it
what
also
was up
shows
with
up
that little...
in the visuals, the storytelling.
That little spell shot move. That was...
This shows up more challenging. It's a more dangerous space. This
just doing the most. So extra right there. Look at that little stance. I love that.
This shows up in the encounters, but it also shows up in the visuals, the storytelling here. This
Zesty
is a place
as hell.
You don't want to be in Hossberg. It is full of darkspawn, full of blight, and generally not a pleasant place to be.
Well, we'll be able to explore more of the Cauldron.
We'll be able to explore more of the Cauldron later when Dragon Age the Veilguard releases. Available now. That's what I would have said if I were narrating, but that's why Cat Bailey is a much better employee than me. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. What'd y'all think of the Dragon Age gameplay? Let me know in the comments down below. Click like, leave a little comment for the algorithm, subscribe if you haven't, and I'm excited to talk more Dragon Age very soon, hopefully. Goodbye, gamers.